In week 6, we hit peak NFL. What does that mean? What does that mean? It means that a player was called down by contact of the head at the half-yard line. It also means that the Broncos gave up 200 plus yards on the ground and still covered the spread. And the Browns were obliterated by a team that doesn't have any fans. Also, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers continue the long-standing NFL tradition of player-team marriages in which you have a once-in-a-lifetime talent and a team full of drunk raccoons and shoulder pads. This is What the Football. This video is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use the promo code WTFootball to get $20 off your first purchase. This is a friendly reminder that, unlike Aaron Rodgers, you don't have to do everything your goddamn self. They find the best deals that fit your budget and make the ticket buying process easy to understand. You know what I don't understand? Why Mike McCarthy is still employed. SeatGeek. We make more sense than the Green Bay Packers. Welcome to What the Football. I'm your happy I didn't put all that money on Colorado to cover -7 versus USC host, TJ Carpenter. And let's be honest here. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So if you lost your house or got some body part snapped in half by a loan shark, my bad. Time to recap the week that was in the NFL. Bucs, Falcons. The Falcons are the best 1-4 team in the NFL, which is exactly what you want to be referred to as by your fans. Matt Ryan, the human wonder bread, proved that it's sometimes hip to be square, and no, not in an American Psycho kind of way. I build models of old merchant ships in my basement in my spare time kind of way. And Jameis Winston shows that no one, and I mean no one, is going to work harder to lose 1 yard than he will. And at the end of the day, Deshaun Jackson loses the game for Tampa Bay by taking his eye off the ball. Here is an, in retrospect, definitely racist rooster to explain.
You gotta keep your eye on the ball! Eyeball! Almost had a gag, son. Joke, that is.
Redskins versus Panthers. The leftover parts of every mediocre team in the NFL from 2009 to 2012 took on Cam Newton and the Panthers on Sunday. Washington has Vernon Davis, Michael Floyd, Colt McCoy, Adrian Peterson, and Darrelle Revis all on the same roster. That's insane. Also, I lied about one of those. Yeah. Did you know Darrelle Revis wasn't in the league anymore? No, you fucking didn't. Did you know Michael Floyd was? I didn't, because I hate the Washington Redskins. On the other side, Cam Newton continued to play like a kid who forgot to do his homework and is now trying to hobble together a last-ditch effort to explain Anna Karenina. Good job, Cam. I'm sure they'll buy your excuse that your dog ate Kelvin Benjamin. Steelers versus Bengals, when false hope meets false alarm. That's right, the Steelers are still more competent than you in every single way. Your 4-1 record is a sham, and you all know it. You both have sold your souls for far too little, employing woman beaters and dirty players. Yeah, sure, that was a dirty hit by Vontaze Burfict. Like every Vontaze Burfict hit. But yeah, that was a dirty block as well. Neither of you deserve respect or praise. The Steelers refuse to employ the best running back in the league at fair market value, and Bengals still refuse to fire Marvin Lewis, no matter how many playoff games he loses or how murky his moral compass seems to get. If the entire stadium just collapsed in on itself like in The Dark Knight, I don't think anyone would bat an eye. Just save Antonio Brown and AJ Green. They deserve far better than the putrid franchises they have been forced to play for. Joe Mixon can't jump, but you don't really want him that close to people who aren't wearing pads anyways. Steelers win on a controversial play because the NFL hates you and me and everyone who enjoys the purity of competition. Chiefs versus Patriots. Andy Reid confirmed the same theory that he confirms every year, that touchdowns are more valuable than field goals. Thanks for falling on that meat sword again, Andy. He does love meat. Patrick Mahomes committed the cardinal sin of allowing his team to putt one time, which is all Tom Brady needed to prove to you that all he needs to be the greatest player of all time is 2 minutes on the clock and Rob Gronkowski. Oh, and a witch doctor who's going to keep him youthful for the rest of eternity with his avocado smoothies and curdled blood of a virgin goat. Thank you, High Priestess of Darkness, Alex Guerrero. The Patriots are the only team in the league, maybe in the history of football, that can give up the lead with 3 minutes to play, and everyone watching at home, in the stadium, on both sidelines, other planets, other dimensions, alternate realities, know Tom Brady's still going to win the fucking game. And the Chiefs are still the only team and fan base who don't realize they lost a football game. Bunch of Mensa members over there in Kansas City. And no, you won't be seeing the Patriots in the playoffs, Chiefs fans. That would require that you win a wild card game, and we all know that shit ain't happening with Dr. Who the fuck knows how much time is left on the sideline. Also, Tom Brady showed everyone just how much Gronk is a trained circus animal.
Smith and the Redskins. Second and 8.
And on a side note, Tyreek Hill got beer thrown in his face by a Patriots fan on one of his touchdowns. And in some cultures, that's actually considered a compliment. That culture is, of course, Southie Boston culture. The most important thing in Chiefs culture is, of course, forgiveness of anyone who runs a sub 4.4 40 time and also scores a lot of touchdowns. So, of course, Tyreek Hill and his agent Drew Rosenhaus are going to take legal action against that fan, even though the Patriots already banned him from the stadium. Because players must be protected, even if they don't protect the ones that they love from themselves. Bears, Dolphins, Brocktober is upon us. In Miami, Mitch Trubisky is starting to look more and more like Andy Dalton every day. If you gave Trubisky a ginger wig and an incompetent coaching staff, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Also on the plus side for the Bears, not being a ginger and not being coached by Marvin Lewis are supremely important factors. Jets versus Colts. This game reminds you that at some point, terrible franchises eventually have to make good decisions, right? Of course, for the Colts, that means surrounding Andrew Luck with enough talent that he only has to throw the ball 60 times a game as opposed to 80 times a game. Which, by the way, is very good for your arm coming off of major shoulder surgery. Oh, what's that you say? You could hand the ball off to Marlon Mack? Wait, maybe you don't want to do that. Who drafted Marlon Mack? Oh, a zoo animal? The Jets are now 3-3, which makes you think back to the golden era of Jets football in 2010 when Mark Sanchez was their quarterback and they were coached by @Footmaster6969. I always like to use his kick username when referring to Rex Ryan. It lets the young people in our audience know that old fat people like having sex too. And it's usually the weird kinky kind. Seahawks versus Raiders. Bradley McDougald knocked the shit out of Amari Cooper. And also brains. No flag though. Probably, I think, because this game was played in London. And in England, the most popular sport is soccer, which has like 2 rules. They aren't used to the 7,000 points of contact, blatant lack of consistency, confusing arbitrary lines of distinction, and outright favoritism that we as Americans all know and love about the NFL. Also of note, the empty husk of a man that was Derek Carr didn't even know Amari Cooper was knocked out of the game, probably because he was too focused on his own internal bleeding and trying to suppress the dark sadness within him that he is going to have to work with John Gruden and this putrid Oakland team for the rest of his fucking career, however long that is. Do the healthy thing, Derek. Bury it deep, deep inside. At least in Las Vegas, you'll be able to numb the pain with cocaine and prostitutes, just like Brent Musburger does. Texans versus Bills. Somebody let the Texans know that they're actually allowed to win a game in regulation. Josh Allen looked very, very tall until he was knocked out of this game with an injury, which gave us all what we really want. Nathan Peterman, whose childlike innocence bloodied the waters for that shark of a defense to rip him and the rest of the Bills to absolute shreds. 1 pick 6 at a time. Did you know Derek Anderson is back in the league? Well, he is, and he's starting next week for the Bills because Sean McDermott is openly terrified of LaShawn McCoy throwing him over Niagara Falls if he lines him up next to Nathan Peterman one more fucking time. The Ravens beat the Titans 21-0, and the Titans gave up 11 sacks in this game. Look, there is literally nothing that you can screw up 11 times in one day and not get fired. Except for maybe working in the drive-thru at Taco Bell. What do you want? It's all the same meat paste anyway. I know you ordered a quesadilla, but you're also eating at Taco Bell, so you kind of get what you get. Meat paste wrapped up in cardboard, blasted with flavor that is found absolutely nowhere in nature. Cowboys dominated the Jaguars 40-7. After the game, Dak Prescott said it could have been because Conor McGregor was at the game, which, actually makes a lot of sense. Conor McGregor's career at this point is basically just handing out wins to people who don't deserve them. He's like the Lucky Charms leprechaun, but instead of substituting a healthy breakfast with enough sugar to put a horse into a coma, he's just handing out wins to the Cowboys. Just that little extra oomph you need to overcome the enormous hurdle that is Blake Bortles. Feel good about that one, Dallas. Huge accomplishment. Don't forget to check out our other videos here on Watch Phantom. Also subscribe to our channel on Facebook, facebook.com/WatchPhantom, where you can find all of our watch parties throughout the week in Dallas, Denver, and in Kansas City. Now get the fuck out of here and don't at me on Twitter.